welcome to Spurs Vision TV. Good evening to you guys in Asia, right? Good morning to all you guys in North Americas, and of course, good afternoon to all you guys in the UK and especially Europe, right? Wherever you are in the world. Right, let me bring on one of my guests. Hi, Nippon. Hi, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. But before we continue, let me bring on two new guests, right? Doing the debut on Spurs Vision TV, right? Today is going to be a special show because I think I'll be the only Spurs guy here, and the rest of them from all over the country, right? Hold on, let me bring them in. Hi guys. Okay, I'm not sure where Nippon you've met. Craig.
Hello,
from
Nippon. You all
Craig
right, Eugene?
And then hi, big up Craig and Jordan. Jordan is a Malaysian Newcastle fan too, right? And let me bring on Craig's nemesis at the moment, Kesha. Kesha,
Okay.
Craig's from Bournemouth, and Kesha's from West Ham.
you,
This is the West Ham guy I'm talking about, and he's Malaysian, right? And let me see who else is coming on here. Who is this? And Julian's got some technical problems. His internet is down. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, can hear me. And Julian, I'm not sure you've met Jordan before. He's replacing Gary at the moment, right? And
Hi, Jordan.
I'm not sure.
Hello. Yeah.
Right, all you guys, right? All right. Today's gonna be interesting. Let's see a few more guests. Whether a few more guests will be coming in along the way. Okay. Nippon has dropped off. Let's see. Maybe just having audio issues at the moment. Nippon will be right back. Today's gonna be an interesting show, but before that, let's get through the chats and say a big up to all the guys in the chats at the moment. Tony Rodriguez, big up Tony. Tony's a fan, of course, and of course Jacob from United Spurs of America, big up Jacob. Yeah, and Ben Kaufman, big up Ben, big up Ben. Mark Cousins, big up Mark Cousins, right? Big up, and Derek Hutchinson from Australia, big up Derek. And of course, we have Hoover, big up Hoover, right? Still loudest intro of all time. Yes, still the loudest intro of all time. Still loudest intro of all time. I forgot to warn you guys. Earphones off whenever I play that video. Sorry.
That's all right, mate.
And then we'll do that in the ending part of the show. Usually that's my outro and my introduction for you guys. Big up Chris Agamba, big up. And Bell, big up. Right. Luca, big up. Right, big up. Right. Luca, big up. And of course Elias, big up to Elias, right? And of course Ian Meff, big up to Ian Meff, right? Yep. Just in a meeting. Okay, back. ASAP. Bad times. Yep. Spurs are having real bad times at the moment. I'm not sure how things are going on for the rest of the football world. I guess me and Craig at the moment. Julian's back. Hey,
Hi.
Julian. Yeah. Julian, you've met.
Yes.
Yeah. Big up, Chris. Yeah. Big up, Elias. Big up. I'm not sure where Julian you've met Elias. Sorry, Julian met Keshaf. Keshaf is down.
Hi, Julian. Hi.
Hi, Chef. Hi.
Yeah, Keshaf's a West Ham fan. Right. Okay, let's get straight to business. Right. No. I'll go straight to the what call the pain. I'll just go straight to our pain. Being a Spurs fan, the pain. Right, this is the sport. Yeah, this is the pain that I'm talking about. Newcastle 6, Spurs 1. That is where the pain is. I'll go, right. I've been on a lot of shows after that scoreline. Okay, yesterday. First thing I would say is it's a shame moment, right? First time, what happened to our team, right? And letting Newcastle score 5 goals against us within the first 21 minutes game, and our defense was totally non-existent. They totally non-existent. Every ball that went goal was got into the penalty box and more or less was scored. Right, so that's that part. Of course, the Newcastle fans will be happy about this, and I will get their thoughts on it and all that. For me, being a Spurs fan now, how would you say this, right? I've been a Spurs fan for 40 years plus. I'm sure that you all, everyone knows about this. And I've been doing YouTubing for the past 2 years or so, right? And I was getting out, PBL, I can't stand it. So at the moment, like I said, I was always very zen about this, and I've never put a lot of emotion into it. But yesterday, what happened, the only feeling that I have now is really being what happened to our players. Not the sad part, not even showing fight, right? Not the desire to fight. There wasn't any of those so-called attributes that you actually need from a footballer to show the fans that you wanted something. Instead, we just lied down about some 5 times, right? Some 5 times, right? And so we've gone to this stage now. I guess this hopefully can be a pivotal moment, right, where the fan base finally unite and actually go against the main problem that we have, which actually the whole world sees it, right? The whole world sees it, and we can't. Hopefully, we can unite, right? And all the fans around the world see what the problem is. It's our owners, okay? And is my audio okay? Hi, guys.
Hello, Eugene. It's dipping out a little bit, I think. Dipping in and out. I could hear what you're saying, but I don't know whether or not anybody else can.
Can you guys hear me? Not too good. Let me try. Is it better?
Can,
Much
yeah.
better.
I can hear you.
Okay, the better. No, I think I've got the audio a bit low, right? Volume issues is that's not good. Yep. Or even Jordan's got some volume issues. I think I just had to adjust my mic. I put my mic a bit lower down. Okay, guys, you can hear me now, right? Yeah, I'm gonna shout louder.
Yeah, better. Loud and clear. Loud and
Loud
clear.
and clear now. Loud and clear now. All right, it's loud and clear now. All right. Sometimes the level dips. Yeah. Now you can hear me, guys. Thanks, guys. Being Spurs fan, we hope that we reunite now because there are a lot of chats going on that there's going to be a big protest on Thursday against the Manchester United game. It's like deja vu. We've come back again, right? One big cycle, right? When last season when we lost to Manchester United, right? That's when we got Nuno in, right? And let me bring Nipun back on. Big up, Nipun. How are you doing? You sorted out all your things? Everything's okay?
Yeah. Quality's better
All
now.
right. All right, better now? Yeah, we can hear you, Nipun now.
Yeah. It's just that
Yeah.
when you brought me in the last time, the audio from my end completely went for some reason.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the audio now is all fine. All mic test.
I can hear you.
All right. Okay. Jordan, how about your audio?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear Jordan too.
Yeah.
Jordan's good. That's good.
It's a bit low.
All right.
but
Yeah, it's good. Can hear your voice nice and clear. You got a nice voice, Jordan. Right. Hopefully, maybe you can put a face to it sooner or later.
yeah.
But okay, going back to the game. The consequences from this game now, let's hope whether we will get a big protest on Thursday against the owners. Hopefully we do, but Spurs is Spurs, right? Our fans hardly ever do anything, but let's hope this actually triggers them, right? This hopefully is the straw that breaks the camel's back, all right? And I won't go on furthermore about the game. We know what happened during the game. 5 goals in 21 minutes. What else is there to say? I don't even know what to say anymore, right? So I'll pass it to Jordan. He's a Newcastle fan. In Malaysia, right? So, Jordan, you go ahead first.
Sorry, this is my first time. I'm a replacement
No
for
problem.
George, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
no problem. Take your time. Yeah. Just give us your feelings, your
Um,
thoughts. I mean, being a Newcastle fan, of course, being taken over by the Saudis now. You got new owners in after years of protests and all that, right? Which is
Yeah.
what Spurs fans are starting to do now, right? To protest against our owners, right?
So
I mean, bigger
so
protests.
this-
We've been protesting. Go ahead.
So there's belief and hope for Newcastle, and they're doing well in the league. Top 3. Defense is pretty good. Midfield's energetic. Strikers are doing well. Yeah, I think Spurs has some issues with their formation. It was they originally, is it 3-4-3, and
Yeah, originally played
they were
3 4
playing.
3, then we changed to a 4-3-3 then.
Yeah, so it didn't work for them, and the two fullbacks weren't performing that well. Perisic wasn't originally a fullback; he's a winger. So yeah, and Poro isn't playing well as well, and the centre backs, Dyer is too slow. So yeah, it's a bit of this defending issues that they have, and that's why Newcastle capitalize on it, and they, yeah,
That's
6-1.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
6-1, yeah, 6-1. And let me get on to the chats for a while. Big up to Scott M. Big up Scott M. Right. And then of course there was the rumor saying that Levy stormed into the changing room while whatever happened there. We do not know, but it's a rumor that's been going on. Right. Nick, big up Nick, big up. Yep, we're three. Yep, we're three. Yeah, 3 chats now. Today I give up. 3 chats now. All is fine. And big up to Guguma, big up Guguma. Thanks for support. Right. Who else do we have? Tony Rodriguez says there's no have no high hopes that our fan base will unite. Yeah, big channels like okay, right. But of course, we'll see how it goes. Leave you out. Yeah, the sad part is at the moment now our fan base has been very divided in all these issues, right? So let's see whether we will unite. But of course, a lot of us are skeptical about it. But let's see how it goes, right? And let's get to Julian.
Yes, Eugene.
Yep. Let's see your thoughts on the game.
Oh,
You're coming from the winning side, right? Let's see how things are from your side now.
of course, Cloud9. Very happy for us, Newcastle. And, I mean, like within 10 minutes, it was a shocker to see that Spurs really, I can see they play with no heart at all. Honestly, all the defensive error, the lack of focus, and Loris is not commanding. I can see there's something wrong with Spurs. Technically, now I realize the past few games why Spurs been conceding a lot of like really silly goals and all, because they were not like that last time. So other than that, I mean, it was a good result for us. But looking at Spurs, it's just like Newcastle 2-3. I mean, during the Mike Ashley era, I can see how they play like that.
Okay, that's fair. But during at least the Mike Ashley era, right? Your Mike Ashley was actually quite honest with you guys, right? He was there just to make the money. He told you guys that, and he was there, right? And he would leave when the price was right, and he got the right price. And let me shout out to Rob Belcher. Big up Rob Belcher. Right, big up, right? Yeah, feel the pain. Put on bright side, Levy 7 for the past championship to someone else. 7-4. Okay, there's odds coming out that Levy's going to. Oh, it's the first time we've seen odds coming out that Levy's going to leave. All right, that's going to be interesting. That's really going to be interesting, right? Yeah, that's going to be interesting, right? But today, what we're going to say is that I'm not sure because Jordan's got some problem at the moment. So let's see whether he comes back on. Right. Let's see whether he comes back on. All right. Let's get to the other fans on the show now, right? Craig, 6-1, Newcastle Spurs. Your thoughts on the game? And I'm sure you have a lot to say because we played you guys the previous week, right?
Yeah. I think Stellini's got to go. Personally, I think he's got to go because at the end of the day, Spurs shouldn't be getting beat 6-1 by Newcastle. It shouldn't be getting beat 6-1 by anybody, including Man City. I think personally, I didn't see much of the game. You know, I saw the highlights, but Newcastle been fantastic under Eddie Howe, and Eddie's one of those managers that Spurs would probably absolutely die for. Would absolutely love to have as their manager, because what he'll do is he'll improve players, and say, for example, Joe Linton is a big one. Joe Linton was rubbish under Bruce. Eddie's gone in there. He's changed his position and got him playing.
Yep, agree on
And
that. Great.
yeah, he's
But to be fair,
fantastic.
Steve Bruce does the opposite of what Eddie Howe does. He just makes players look shit.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you on that. Eddie's a brilliant manager, and Spurs deserve a lot better. Let's be fair, you weren't very good against us. Not well, of course, it goes without saying. Not very good yesterday, and really, that can't lie with just the manager. That has to lie with Daniel Levy as well now. And I saw Ali McCoist mentioned my good friend, Mr. Harry Redknapp, potentially going into Spurs as an interim manager. I say get it done. I think it would be a good move. Both for, I think Harry would enjoy it. I guess he's kind of retired now, but to be honest, I think he would jump back into the opportunity to manage Spurs, and I think he's still got the ability, still got it in him to bring success to a football club. So, yeah, I think that would be a no-brainer. But Stellini's got to go. He's not just a poor man's Conte. He sets up like Conte. He is a Sunday League Conte. And
that's an insult to Sunday League football. That's an insult to Sunday League football.
Yes. I've played a lot of it, and to be honest, some of the management decisions on Sunday League football, I've got, you can put nicely, atrocious. But I think what Stellini's done is there's no link up there. He had both Son and Kane on the pitch last weekend against us, and okay, yeah, Son did play well, but I think he's lost, the rest of the dressing room. If Son's playing well but hasn't got a team around him, that there is no gain from that. There's no gain from that. You can't just have one person playing well. So yeah, my view, Eugene, sack Stellini. Daniel Levy's got to get his head out of his backside and start putting Spurs back to where they really belong.
Fair, to be fair, yeah. But that's the pipe dream that most of Spurs fans have at the moment. So let's see how that goes, right? But not putting much hope onto that unless Thursday there's a big turn up in the protest and to show the displeasure of the Spurs fan, then maybe he will wake up or he feels pain a bit. But to tell the truth, we've always been saying he doesn't feel much pain from the fans because he doesn't care. He cares more about the money than more than the fans. So at the moment, whatever he comes out from his mouth, we will never believe it, right? But of course, Kesha, your thoughts?
I agree with mostly all what everybody says here. I think I actually watched the game. I thought Spurs were actually shambolic. Actually, everyone not defensively organized. The attack was nowhere near as cohesive as they would be, and I have to give credit to Newcastle actually because I think they are such a well-run club, very organized club. They've got some, they're doing some amazing things at that club, and I really sort of admire them because they have a sense of style of play. They know what type of system they use. The manager gets the best out of the players, and they are dreaming right now in Champions League football. So you have to give credit where's due. And look, to be honest, Eugene, we also lost 5-1 to Newcastle, and it wasn't easy at all. It was very tough.
You lost Newcastle, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you lost 5-1. So to see a transformation like to see a transformation like this under Eddie Howe is quite incredible because you see Newcastle weren't even in the position of competing for Champions League spot before. It was quite a long time ago. So credit-wise due, it's very impressive to see where Newcastle, but if they get Champions League football, it's going to be a very different ball game because they have to juggle between Champions League and Premier League, and it's not going to be easy. So let's see. But Tottenham, they've got some bigger problems, and I'm really not sure how to comment on the managerial situation because it's very tough right now because um, I think you need a manager who knows Spurs, and yeah, Harry Redknapp might be the person. So, but
That's fair. That's fair. Right. And of course, let me bring in Mani. Big up, Mani. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
sir. Once again, I hope you enjoyed Eid. I don't want to mention the football, but the football is why you're here. But
Yeah, we have to mention football.
yeah,
That's
but
why we're doing this.
but how were the festivities over in Kuala Lumpur?
It is okay. It is okay, right? This year not doing too much celebrations because I'm still at work. Didn't take much an off time for it, but due to some family issues and all that, right? Because the passing of my father-in-law last year, so this year's it is a bit somber. So, but before we go on, I have to say a big shout out to Will. Will, big up, right? From Tottenham Way, right? And guys, don't forget, if you haven't, please go and subscribe to Tottenham Way, right? One of the testing, one of the
Okay.
forerunners of the yeah. There's a echo. True. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, who's got the echo? Right. But we'll check on that later. Right. Big up to Tottenham Way. Right. One of the forerunners of the Levy Out, carrying the Levy Out banner. Big up to Nick Collison, Barry, Ranjit. Yeah, big up to you guys, right? All in the chats, right? And as we're just going through the Spurs game at the moment, of course we're looking at Stellini, and of course Will is saying, right, it ain't Stellini's fault because yeah, we are stuck with the dross that we have, right, for the past years. Since
Well,
then.
it's interesting, really, Eugene, because I do seem to remember reading on the BBC that he took the decision to try a back four for the game. And I think he probably wanted to see if it could bring about a little bit of defensive solidity. But the problem is, having gone so used to playing with the back three and then the four in the midfield or what have you, you know, they simply looked a little bit all over the place at sixes and sevens. And that was sort of, sort of underlined by his decision to take off Sarr midway through the half and bring on Davinson Sanchez, who, of course, was booed by his own supporters. And it seemed to work because after going 5-0 down with barely 20 minutes gone, you ended up restricting the rest of the game to 1-1. So it just begs the question, if it isn't broke, why should you try to fix it? And why couldn't Stellini have, stuck to what worked well? It'll always give you that idea. If he had, been a little bit more stoic and had he stuck to his guns and stuck to what had worked reasonably well so far, would he have been able to repel that Newcastle attack? I know it's all ifs and buts and sweets and nuts, but you just think about things like that, don't you?
That's true. That's true. And Nippon, did you watch the game?
I was at work when the game was happening, but I saw the highlights, and that was utter. I have not seen a word. Forget Tottenham. This is probably the worst Premier League performance I've seen all season.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that upsets you, Eugene. But this is the worst performance.
That's why. Okay. Is it his internet or my internet now? Okay. Nippon, your internet is. Don't have to be sorry.
I'm back.
Nippon.
I'm back.
Yeah. Don't have to be sorry because I already said it in the beginning, right? Before you all joined the show, I said I'm ashamed at the moment, right? Being a Spurs fan, right? I'm not even wearing my Spurs jersey anymore. I think I've got to give it up, right? Even though it's not, I ain't gonna wear it because to tell the truth, after what happened yesterday, I feel ashamed. I mean, go ahead and.
Why do you think I'm not wearing my Chelsea kit? Because I think the same about my club than you do about yours.
Yeah, that's what's happening now to all of us, right? But of course, at the moment, how do you see? I mean, even with Chelsea and Spurs and all that we are going through now, right? This is the last lap of the season, right? There's 6 more games to go. For some teams, there are 7 games or 8 more games, but most of the teams have 6 more games to go, right? So everyone has to have a target that we have to meet, right? Of course, being an Arsenal fan, your target is winning the league, right? Being a Spurs fan, we're going for the top 4 trophy, Being a Chelsea fan, I don't know what to say, right? For being a West Ham fan and a Bournemouth fan, you guys are fighting. I mean, for your life to stay in the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
For being a Newcastle fan, they're in cloud 9 now. All right, of course they're in cloud 9. You could be
Yep.
third. You could even jump Manchester United if things go well, right? And for at the moment now, being a Spurs fan, we see the games that are being lined up. It ain't looking too good. And what happened yesterday adds on to it because it was really bad because the players are bad, right? Like when the lineup came out, when you see Dyer and Romero as centre backs holding centre backs, right? And with Porro and Perisic as fullbacks, which they are not supposed to be fullbacks, it was just a recipe for disaster. Simple as that, right?
Perisic and Porro are wing backs. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Yeah, they're just wing backs, right? And that's the thing. And of course, a lot of people are saying that's what the fan base wanted. Everybody called for a back four, except for us who had, yeah, of course. And then that's when went to back four, and then Conte haters. No, we keep going back to the issues that we can't play a back four. We know that we can't play a back four because of the defense, the defense that we had, right? And the thing is that at the moment now, let's see in the chats, it's all going crazy. The Spurs fans are going crazy. See, if you can't defend with a back three, how you can defend with back four? So, but okay, let's move on from the Spurs talk because Spurs talk at the moment now actually is very depressing.
Gonna make your
Very,
blood
very
boil.
depressing. Yeah, and let me say a big shout out to Swaff Rock BG. Big up Swaff Rock. Thanks for being on. Right. Whatever it is, all I can say, right, at the moment now, whatever has happened, the Spurs fan base is right divided, right, and it's turning toxic. The best part is that if we are divided and turning toxic, we have to have one focus. The one focus is right. Look at my background, ENIC out, right, and look at what I've always been saying in the chats. Levy out. That is the thing that should be our focus at the moment, right? Should be our main focus. Unite and go for it.
I have a question for you. Do you think this is worse? This regime is worse than what you guys were under Alan Sugar?
Okay.
Because even though Alan Sugar had you finishing mid-table, you guys were still winning trophies.
Yeah. No. Okay. Nippon. Under Sugar, right? We can't complain about Sugar because Sugar saved us from bankruptcy. Without Sugar, there might not even been a Tottenham Hotspur during that time. It's gone to that bad, right? But of course, Sugar made his mistakes, right? And in the end of the day, you must remember, in those days, Spurs fans are not the Spurs fans of now. You see, the Spurs fans in those days, when Sugar had it bad, right? They went for him personally. They protested outside his house, right? And in that day, the stress got to him. He said that I can't take it anymore, right? I'm going to sell it to my partner, or in another investment group who's already part of the shareholders in Spurs. And that's how ENIC got hold of Tottenham Hotspur. Sugar didn't buy out Spurs outright. Sugar bought out Spurs in, like, usually you buy out a club in a consortium, you got a few partners with you. You get what I'm saying? Even like now, Todd Bowley, being an owner of Chelsea, right? He doesn't own what you call Chelsea outright, right? Part of it.
No, it's a consortium. We're owned by a consortium.
Yeah, consortium, right? Let me see. What does Manny say? Nippon, you might want to watch the interview. Yeah. That one you understand the stories about that.
Yeah, Nippon, I'll explain. First of all, big up to Craig, my wonderful friend from the Bournemouth Fan Channel. We do some terrific work together for the cherry picking shows that we do in the midweek, and I will be joining him then. Do please catch those programs and subscribe to his channel. Quality stuff. And before the match, the Tottenham Bournemouth game, they did an interview together for the channel, Nippon, and Eugen underlined and sort of outlined why Sugar deserves a bit more credit and basically went back in history. So, when you watch that interview and that particular question, you'll get the full picture right there.
Yep. You get the
Look,
picture.
that's
Thanks for the
also
shout
what
out,
I'm trying to
Manny.
say. That's also what I'm trying to say, Manny. Because my question still stands: is it worse now, or was it worse under Alan Sugar?
At the moment, it's worse now because we haven't won a trophy in 15 years, right? ENIC has been the owners of have been the owners of Tottenham Hotspur for the past 23 years or so, right? They've been here since 2001 or maybe 2000. That's when they took over most of the shares, right? But
You were a decent cup team when Alan Sugar was your owner.
yeah, we were a decent cup team. We will bag in at least in at least a League Cup or FA Cup along the way, right? So that is what it is, right? At the moment now, being a Spurs fan, it sucks, right? We were humped, hammered, screwed, whatever you can call it yesterday, right? By a very determined Newcastle team, a very up and coming Newcastle team. Because to tell the truth, Newcastle deserve what they've got. They got in a manager, right? And I'm sure the owners back Eddie Howe, right, to give him what he wanted, give him the tools that he needed to actually become what they are now, right? Because it was very evident, the evidence were there. You were last season bottom of the league. Eddie Howe came in, brought you up to the 12th or 13th at the end of the season. So kudos to that, right? But we'll move on from the Spurs talk because Spurs talk is, to tell the truth, right? I had to start it first, right? But let me.
I have a question for Julian.
Yes,
Nico. If I told you when you were in the relegation zone that the season after you would be on the verge of qualifying for the Champions League, how would you react? What would your reaction have been?
Oh, definitely. You mean if last year we were fighting for relegation and now qualifying for Champions League, is it?
Yeah, if I told you last season that you'd be on the verge of qualifying
Relegation.
for the Champions League
Okay.
when you were rock bottom in 20th last season, how would you have reacted?
Definitely, because when we were without any new, I mean, if it's still with Mike Ashley, it would have been just another day, just the same, like fighting every season, battling relegation. It's a norm. Yeah, I would say it's just normal for us. So now with the new owners and all, I think it's a very different feeling now, if you ask me, Nippon. But if we're still stuck with Mike Ashley every year fighting relegation, that will be my reaction. It's just a norm. That's it. It's just what it is what it is already.
Okay. And
Well, I
Jordan,
tell you what, actually, just on that note, when Eddie was just about to take over Newcastle, I did have a conversation with Harry, and personally, I think we both agreed that it was a bit of a crazy appointment. We thought he was on a bit of a hiding to nothing because, taking over this side who were bottom of the league, who seemed to be devoid of confidence, with players like Joe Linton who was struggling. We just didn't see a way out. And then, of course, he had COVID for his first game, which was against Brentford. I think it was a 3-3 draw, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
from that point onwards, he started to change things. He completely changed Joe Linton. He started to integrate, of course, Bruno Guimaraes. Bringing him in was a great signing. But you've also got to look at the players as well that he brought in that weren't, didn't have the big names following them. And what he's done is, I think he's done a fantastic job at Newcastle. And I thought he was going to be successful there. But hand on heart, I thought he was going to be successful from the Championship. So I thought the Newcastle, he was going to struggle to keep them up last season. He did a fantastic job getting them to 11th. But, I thought he would have had to work his way back out of the Championship and then go from there. But what he's done is frankly remarkable. And just a quick question around the room. I personally think, well, I know for a fact that he's probably not going to accept the England job if that is offered to him at some point. The main reason being is he likes the day-to-day work. At Bournemouth, he was the first one in. He was in at 6 o'clock in the morning. He was the last one to leave. And actually, there's a really, really good show that I did with former chairman Eddie Mitchell, the man who got him
Didn't
back
he, if
to
I'm not
the.
mistaken, Craig, didn't he always cycle to the training ground? And the locals
Guys, just
could
just
see
hold on
it.
for a while, guys. Let me. I will address something in the chats, right?
Mm.
Guys, please, right? Whatever it is, right? Be nice to each other in the chats, right? No name calling and all that at the moment, guys. Right? We're all Spurs fans, and I got to say a big shout out to Mr. K. Big up, Mr. K. Right? Mr. K was with me last Sunday doing the Talk to K, right? And it's it's not fair for the rest of the people in the chats, right? Nick, you're correct, right?
Hmm.
So please try not to be too rude to each other in the chats, right? Let's hope.
Listen, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah,
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Hold on. At the moment now. Okay, sorry, Craig. Continue.
Yeah, so I think I'm not. I don't think he did cycle to the ground. I think he always used to go in his Land Rover or his Range Rover, and used to have his own. And his car was always out there. So I don't believe that's true, but there might be once or twice. But the thing is with Eddie Howe was, and there is a great interview that I did with Eddie Mitchell, the man that brought him back to AFC Bournemouth after a stint at Burnley. The way what he goes into is, what he saw in Eddie. What he saw in Eddie throughout his time working with him, how dedicated he was. He's quite an interesting man, Eddie Mitchell. So it's worth watching. Quite a controversial man at this football club, but a man who, personally, I think has done well. This football club wouldn't be where it is without him. He's one of those. Unfortunately, some of our fans are, let's say, short-minded. That they don't remember where we've come from, and without Eddie Mitchell, I don't think Bournemouth would be anywhere near the Premier League. I don't think we'd be in the Championship, to be fair.
But okay, he's no more the owners, right? He's been bought out.
No, so Eddie Mitchell was a previous owner. Maxim Denim was then introduced by Eddie Mitchell to the football club. Maxim took full control, so Eddie Mitchell was a previous owner to him. But it is the cycle of the three owners. So we've got Bill Foley now. Maxim Denim was a fantastic owner, brilliant, outstanding owner, and Eddie Mitchell was before him. So without those, well, especially without the two owners, Maxim Denim and Eddie Mitchell, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are.
Okay, fair. And of course, Jordan, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Jordan, if you have thoughts, right, don't put it in the chats. You can just say it out in to let us know how you feel. I know this is your first time, right? Because you put in the private chats about the when Nippon asked about the sugar times are now better or whether what times, right? Have your say on that. Go ahead.
Actually, I was a student at Newcastle University.
Oh, interesting.
8 years ago, 2015 to 2018. And I think Spurs were in their prime, maybe the year 2017-18. And there was a lot of improvements. They beat Real Madrid. They've done quite a lot of things, that they've never done before under Alan Sugar's regime. So I think that trophies aren't everything. And yeah, trophies aren't really everything. That's why I feel that under Levy, they're doing better right now. But it's just that they have this rough patch for this season. Then Everyone seems to think that they're dropping off.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I understand.
They didn't.
But of course,
They didn't really spend that much, to be honest, under Pochettino.
oh yeah,
So
not to say they
I
spent a lot of money on
yeah.
Pochettino. We didn't buy any players for 3 transfer windows. That's why we didn't spend that much on
Yeah.
Pochettino.
So I don't see the reason why people think that under Sugar, they're doing better. I'm pretty personally, I think they're doing better now than last time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I understand. But of course, there are a lot of opinions, right? Some people think it's the journey, and some people think that it's the trophies, right? So everyone has got the right to their opinion, right? And maybe Jordan, when Newcastle win 2 trophies, then that will give you
Yep.
the incentive of actually knowing that kind of feeling, right?
Yep.
Because
Hope so.
if I'm not mistaken, you guys are going on that route, right? And you at least your new owners have come out and said something like, we've got a 10-year plan, right? And we want to be challenging for the league or at least win something within those 10 years, right?
Yep,
For us
correct.
Spurs fans, right? Our owners don't talk to us and don't give us a plan, but just give us shit and more shit and more shit for the past 4 years. So that's why we're all going crazy. That's simple as that, right? So
That's like my
okay.
Ashley era first, yeah. So
Yeah,
I
it's-
understand how you all feel. I understand how you
we're
feel.
going. Yeah, so we're going through something like a Mike Ashley era now. That's what Julian is saying. No, but at least that's true, right? Mike Ashley was honest with you guys. He said, "Hey, you're gonna spend. Hey, you're gonna spend. Right? If you guys want to take it, take it. You don't want. If you guys don't want to take it, you can leave it, right? Until someone comes
Yeah.
up with the price that I put out there, right?
Mm.
And I think that 200 million pounds was always been on that the price that he wanted, right? It always went up from I think like what from 180
200
million.
to 300. I think it was 200 to 300. He wanted that.
200 to 300, and in the end
Yeah.
day, I think now the deal they're saying is close to 300. That's why he sold, right? So
Correct.
he got the money, he got the price he wanted. So the thing is, the problem is that for being a Spurs fan, we are in the position that our owners want 3 billion to 5 billion pounds, right? So you're not talking about 100 million or 200 or 300 or 400 million pounds. You're talking billions now. So when we reach that stage, we're in the billions, right? It's not so easy to be sold, right? That's how I can tell you. It's not so easy to be sold, right? Okay, let's move on from the Spurs talk. Let's get on to a more interesting subject, which I guess Nippon will have a good laugh at it, and Mani will more or less be Mani. Mani,
Yes.
Arsenal 3, Southampton 3. As a Spurs fan, I'm not going to comment on it first. I'll let you have your say, and then I'll go through the panel and let's see what's their thoughts on this result.
There really is nothing more to say. The worst part was when we conceded that goal, I hadn't even settled down to actually watch the match. And the first thing I said to myself, and I know that Craig will certainly resonate with me on this, is that I felt that it would be Bournemouth all over again, because against Craig's lot, we conceded with barely 10 seconds on the clock. And it's not a good look when you concede so early at home. We very nearly conceded in the first minute against Leeds United as well. And I was thinking to myself, I wasn't happy with the lineup. I really did not like the sight of Zinchenko coming back in with the issue of his groin and so forth. And it was a question of I'm trying to deal with WhatsApp on one end and StreamYard on another. Please forgive me, but it's as if for the majority of the game, for the first 3 quarters of it, we never seemed to show any kind of urgency to even get back into it. Even after Martinelli scored to send us into halftime 2-1 down, I thought at least, unlike the other games where we went in 2-1 ahead only to lose a lead, we could at least use us as a spur to give us a rocket up the backside we needed. But instead, we still continued to show some dreadful defensive weakness. And for Alexander Zinchenko to lose his man, Kaleta Sarr, and just hold on a minute, please.
All right. Hold on. Right. Okay, we'll continue from there, right? I'll just have my say on this at the moment. At the moment, as I see Arsenal, the title is in their hands, right? And after the past 3 games, right, I think they're going through a slight wobble, right, which they didn't have throughout the whole season. And this is not the best time to have that wobble, right? And being at this moment now, being a Spurs fan, most probably Arsenal not winning the league is more or less our joy. And no,
Yeah.
money's back.
Yeah,
Money's
I
back.
think
Money
I think
Money didn't hear. Money didn't
think
hear what
what-
I said.
Yeah, I think I got the gist of what you said. If Arsenal ends up losing the league, then it's going to be fine for all you Spurs supporters. And look, I'd say you'd have a right to mock us because this would be the second time that we've bottled 8-point leads. But as I was saying, the lack of urgency was something that really hurt me. The sight of Alexander Zinchenko losing his man, Kaleta Sarr, who got that third goal in from another set piece, the corner, it sickened me. And I told myself, this is a match which we once again deserved to lose, just like the Bournemouth game when we were 2-0 down on the hour. And somehow, with about 10 minutes to go, we find the resolve to, score the goals that we needed. And a lot of people are going to say, once again, we showed great fight. We could have won it had Trossard's shot been a few inches lower, or had Reece Nelson's shot not been deflected behind. But I'll tell you one thing. All these people who say that wins like the win over Bournemouth and the win over Aston Villa are the stuff of champions really need to take a look further deeper and read between the lines. Champion teams do not allow themselves to play as badly as they do, and then at the very end take advantage of tired teams to end up winning. I think that's absolutely it's utter ridiculousness. I remember seeing teams in years gone by who would play well, who would still struggle, but who at least didn't really look as dreadful as they did, and still find the ability to come back and win. Those wins are stuff of champions. Not going behind two teams at the wrong end of the table and having to, huff and puff and struggle like a fish out of water and then eventually blow the house down. So this was the match where we got found out. And it's one of those matches where I believe we would have been better off losing than drawing. Because had we lost, at least some of these top gooners would have had a huge knock on the head to let them see just how poor our team is. Instead, with the draw, the narrative is, well, we got a point. We should be proud of the fight that they showed. But when you take a look inside, the porousness of our defense means that I absolutely fear for what will happen to us when we go to the Etihad. The sight of the ex-City the City midfielder / defender, whatever he is, I don't know, in the defense will certainly leave his former teammates licking their lips in anticipation. And as for Gabriel Jesus, as good as he has been for us, there was a reason why City let him go and got Erling Haaland in. So not only are we not quite at the level as a team in terms of strength, but we also have a poor tactical manager who doesn't even know what to do when the chips are down. His substitutions, bringing on the likes of Nketiah for this game. I mean, Reece Nelson came on and did a good job. Trossard came on and added a bit of energy, and it brings forth the question: why didn't he at least find a place in the starting lineup? There was no Tierney, which was disgraceful. At least he would have stuck to his man and avoided Kaleta Sarr from breaking free from him, at least. And it was just completely wrong from the get-go, and it was one match which absolutely sickened me. There's a part of me that still retains some hope that as long as we were able to get a result against City and win our remaining games, then it's still very much in our hands. But as John Maynard Keynes, the famous economist, once said, when facts change, people change their minds. I changed my mind. I don't see any hope of us winning the title. I think City are coming into a pristine run of form at the best possible time. They've had a very shaky, wobbly season by their standards, but that I'm sure the World Cup being held in December had a lot to do with it. And as much as my good friend Craig has predicted that we would win and said that City are due a slip-up, let's not forget that on at least a few occasions when City have won, they've been on brilliant runs of form which have seen them come from behind to win. And normally in a horse race or any kind of long distance race, it's that kick you put near, not too far from the finish line, that really sends you forward, that bit of momentum. You don't, start a long distance race leading the pack and expect to lead the pack and go on to win the whole way through. And that's sort of how it works. I think in 2019, they won all their games and pipped, I think it was Liverpool, to the title
because I think that was the season when they went on and won the Champions League. I'm not too sure. And Mr. K, I'm sorry, but no, I don't agree with you when you say that Arsenal can win the league, and the comeback against Southampton didn't prove it, because we should never have allowed ourselves to fall behind to that team in the first place. So if we can't beat Southampton, what hope do we have of playing against a City team that are coming into form at the right time, a Newcastle team that has also recovered magnificently and who look really, really good in both the midfield and attack? We've also got to face Chelsea at home and Brighton at home.
No. You're beating us. You are beating us. I don't care.
Nipun,
calm
down. I'll tell you one thing. You have an excellent recent record at the Emirates against us, and you have this disgusting knack of being able to raise your game against us. I don't know this time around, but if we could go behind 2-0 and 3-1 to Southampton, this league has been a jammy league all this season. Don't discount it. I'd love nothing better than to beat Chelsea, but even then, I'm not too
Likewise,
sure.
Manny, but I just don't see us beating you.
Yeah, but Nipun, what if Poch comes in within this week?
But does Poch have a good record against Arsenal?
We'll have to take a look at the
Does
stats.
he have a good record in North London derbies?
We'll have to
I'm
take a look
sure
at the
Eugene
stats.
can tell me this.
I'm pretty sure he's beaten us at least once or twice, but I'll just make a few closing comments. So no, I just don't think that we're going to win the league, and we've shown once again that when the going gets tough, we fold like a pack of cards. And City now are in the driver's seat because, yes, we're 5 points ahead, but they have 2 games at hand. They win those games at hand, they go 1 point above us. We're once again relying on snookers. And that's not the way championship teams should necessarily be. If we do go on to win, I'm not going to look a gift horse in its mouth. But let's not be under any impressions that this team is in by any means a finished article. Next season will also be a watershed because this manager and these players, well, at least most of them, will be under pressure to prove that this season is no fluke. And if they can't prove that, then I think that just sums it all up. We got cocky, we got complacent, we got arrogant, and we very nearly paid the price.
Fair. And I'll go to Nipun. Nipun, your thoughts?
First, as much joy as I want to take from Arsenal dropping points, I just can't, given our position in the table. But still, yeah, man, Arsenal seem to be shaking up again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fair.
But obviously that'll all change when you guys play Chelsea on May 2nd.
Yeah. And then I'm sure Arsenal's playing this midweek against M City, right? And that's the big game for Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they do get a result there, then maybe the Chelsea game will come in some slight importance.
I don't see them winning the City game.
If they lose to City, then the Chelsea game comes to be really, really vital for them to beat Chelsea. So let's see what happens then. And Craig, your thoughts on the game?
A lot of these Arsenal fans are scared about a new manager bounce. What new manager bounce?
You mean for Chelsea?
Yeah, what new manager bounce?
Until the new manager comes in, then we'll see whether it has a bounce.
Of course.
Yeah. I'll get Craig's thoughts on this, right? And especially with Mr. K's question, right? He's asking the panel, do you think Arsenal can still... He thinks Arsenal still can win the league, coming back from the Southampton game, right? What are your thoughts, Craig?
I think Arsenal will still win the league. However, I think there's a couple of things for Arteta to look at. Firstly, I watched this game, and the first 2 goals were a shambles from Arsenal. Rambo, I'm not sure what he was doing for that first one. Very, very disappointing. But they come back into it, but Southampton aren't particularly a very good side. We've got them actually next in the Premier League. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we could, we can get a positive result up there. But personally, I just don't think... I think Arsenal let themselves down a little bit. Good comeback at the end, Very, very good comeback at the end. Showed that they've got real strengths and Southampton have got real weaknesses, but should never have really put themselves in that position.
Mm-hmm. Good, to be fair, right? And Keshav, any thoughts on the game? 3-3.
I actually watched the game, and I thought the first 5 minutes was quite interesting because Arsenal conceded very early and sort of it dictated the game. And you have to credit to Southampton actually because actually they played very well. They came out, they pressed Arsenal. The Arsenal suffered a bit here and there, but it's good to see that Arsenal do have that tenacity going. But I just feel that the way Arsenal have been playing these past few games shows to me that I think they will miss out and not win the Premier League. I really don't. I think Man City are in best form right now. They're too good right now, and it'll be difficult for Arsenal. But like I said, we'll see how it goes. But Arsenal have got their own sort of problems to fix, especially in their defense. I thought the first goal conceded was very poor. And yeah, I know there's vulnerabilities, if you ask me. And yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. All right, Jordan, are you there, Jordan?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Any thoughts on the Arsenal game? 3-3. Did you watch it?
I didn't. I watched the highlights,
Okay.
but I did watch City's game against Bayern. So that's all I can say.
And
3-0.
and your questions from Mr. K. Do you think Arsenal will win the league? And
Nah, no, not a chance really.
okay.
I'm sorry, but I just don't see them winning. They kind of screwed it up. The last few games. I hope they do improve, but for me, City is playing too well right now.
Okay.
3-0 against Bayern isn't easy, so yeah.
Yeah, fair.
I mean,
And Julian.
Yeah,
Can you hear me, Julian?
yep, can hear you, Eugene. So to answer Mr. K question as well, I think it's difficult for Arsenal to win the league also. Man City plays like a true champion. Like correct, I agree with all of you saying that Arsenal, especially Mane, shouldn't playing against Southampton, bottom of the league. It shouldn't concede themselves like this to get to lose focus and all. You shouldn't you compare Man City. They will just destroy all teams below them. That's why they can win it convincingly. But Arsenal, every match, if I watch them play, they struggle. Even with Southampton, teams are the bottom of the table and all. It's difficult at the moment, but somehow I think Arsenal can try to play, but I think it's Man City if the match against I think it's this Wednesday match. This Wednesday, Arsenal and Man City. I think that will decide who will win the league. I feel that way. If Arsenal can beat Man City, I think they will have a huge lead to win. But if Man City destroys Arsenal this Wednesday, then I think it's everyone knows the answer already. Then
Okay.
that's
fair,
my
fair.
point.
Well, I think most of the panel here, apart from Craig, right? Craig, you're the only one who think Arsenal can win it. I mean, I'm being a Spurs fan. I'm not going to say Arsenal will win it, but deep down inside, to tell the truth, right? I hope Arsenal. I mean, being a Spurs fan, right? Just for the sake, our good friend Steven, right, who just passed away recently, a very, very close friend to us, right? For his sake, maybe they should have their hands on it. But I mean, football is football. When it comes to it, right? If you start to wobble at the end of the race, that's when
That's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. You can become undone, right? And of course, Suavro BG says that City have a cheat code in De Bruyne and Haaland. Yeah, Haaland is. Oh my God, we ain't even going to talk about Haaland because we don't have any City fans here. I don't have any City fans. Come on, right? But okay, we've come to the next game, right? This game is going to be interesting because it's between, right, the guys sitting next to each other in the screen. Bournemouth, West Ham.
Oh dear! Oh
We
dear!
have no West Ham fans on this. We have no West Ham fans on this channel.
No,
Nipun.
Keshav is a West Ham fan.
I was a West Ham fan.
Oh, I thought Keshav was a Newcastle fan.
No,
No, Keshav is a
No.
West Ham fan.
Sorry, my bad.
And Keshav has. We've come to the conclusion. Keshav is a Moist Out fan too. But explain yourself.
I didn't know. I'm really sorry. I didn't know.
It's okay. No worries. It's fine.
Yeah. But Craig, I'll give Keshav the mic first because he's a Moist Out guy and beating you guys 4-0 away at Bournemouth, right? I mean, he deserved to have his goal first.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it, Keshav. Tell
Like
us
I
why
said,
is no one Moist Out.
Okay, to sort of sum it up, it's been a shit season for us. Let's be fair. After the past 2 seasons, I think once Moyes had come in, I thought, okay, he's given us a lift after we survived the drop. I thought he could do something, and to be honest, I was quite shocked. He delivered 6th place, then back it up with a 7th place finish. And to be honest, last season we had a great time in the Europa League. We finished in the semi-finals. We lost to Frankfurt, unfortunately, which I thought was a very tough game. And I thought this season, we could have replicated the same form. But unfortunately, when you have a manager like Moyes who's unable to develop a great team like what we have now, and to be honest, we shouldn't be in this position. But it's tough being down there because, as a fan, I've sort of seen my club being in this position. It's not nice. It's really difficult to see your team not winning every time, and you have to suffer with the way you play and can't seem to gel with the team you have. But I think we started to sort of gain some form these past few games. Last week we played Ghent in the Conference League quarterfinals. We played very well. I think, to be honest, one of our best performances in the Conference League. We looked much more of ourselves. We looked like the team that I know we were, and we looked like a team which was able to counter-attack well, make sure that the team loses the ball quickly. We are very good in set pieces. Paqueta starting to show what he's all about. Rice is, to be honest, one of the best midfielders we could ever have. So, I'm very... I have strong belief he can win this. I really do. I do believe. But it's been quite a long time West Ham haven't won a trophy. I think it's been over 40 years. I think so.
42 years. FA Cup against Arsenal in 1980.
Yeah. So I do hope it's written for us that we do win this. But Premier League safety is important right now. So coming to the Bournemouth game. To be honest, I actually wasn't confident, really. I really wasn't confident. To be honest, I'm very impressed with what Bournemouth have done, really. I'm very impressed. O'Neill has done quite a remarkable job considering the place he has, actually. And, when I see Bournemouth, I see a very determined side. I see a side which has a lot of belief in the way they play. And I like how Bournemouth are playing. They've got some attacking sense. They're very good in using the likes of Solanke and Tavernier and all these very good players. And he's making the best use of these players. But I was quite shocked with how West Ham played, actually, for the first 5 minutes. They scored first goal in 5 minutes. Antonio, very good goal. I didn't think the Bournemouth defenders were marking him well, which sort of gave us license to play well in the upcoming minutes. I thought Paqueta really showed what he was about. We sort of, I would say, controlled the game, actually, because I didn't think Bournemouth had that many. We sort of limited them to a number of chances. But that is how I want us to play. I was really shocked because I didn't expect what I was seeing. I was telling myself, is this really am I seeing a different side? It's quite remarkable, actually, because I thought we were very cohesive in the way we played. I thought the defense was marking the Solanke well and the wingers well. And what I see from West Ham is that we are not a very progressive and possession-based team. We're more of a counter-attacking team. We wait for teams to make mistakes and go on the counter. I think that's what Moyes' sort of style of play is about. And 4-0, really good goals. To be honest, the Fornals goal was a bit of luck. To be honest, it's a scorpion kick, but good goal for him. But yeah, look, to be honest, there's a lot of comments on Moyes and him going out and all that. But like I said, I think it's we have to. I know it's a sense that I'm still Moyes out, but again, I like to appreciate the fact that what he's done for us, these past years. I'm very grateful. And some people are writing him off, saying that he can't get the best out of players like Paqueta and Fornals and all these players here. But look, we have to.
You are one of the some people, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But like I said, I still want. Okay, let's put this hypothetically. If we win the Conference League and we stay safe, I think West Ham fans would say that's a great season. To be honest, I really do. I really do think we could not
get a
more.
trophy. Of course, it's a great season, right? Spurs fans have been waiting for that for so long.
Newcastle as well.
So, like
Guys,
I said,
sorry. Yeah, I want to ask you a question, Keish. If you guys, I really don't want to say this because this is a Tottenham channel, but if you guys win the Conference League, do you think David Moyes should stay?
that's a tough question. I'll still say no, unfortunately, because to be honest, don't get me wrong, the way we played against Bournemouth is exactly what I like. We pressed and we scored 4, great. But I want a more attacking manager. I want my team to play in control and flair and all that. With Moyes, it's very like a sort of Steve Bruce, defensive, and you just wait for something to happen and score. It's quite boring.
Well, you're doing well in Europe because of this. I mean, would you rather play attractive football and win trophies? Sorry. Would you rather play shit football and win trophies, or play attractive football and win fuck all?
Nippon, stop talking about Spurs.
I was talking about West Ham.
Yeah. You're reminding me of Spurs, right?
I was asking Keisha a question because he said he wants a manager who plays attractive football. But you're winning. You could win a trophy by playing David Moyes football.
Well, I would say that I'll still stick to my point. Actually, I do want a manager who plays good football. I don't want a manager who I know if Moyes plays like what he did, defensive, keep the ball and try and score or pounce on the team's mistakes, and like what every other manager does, like a defensive manager, and wins a trophy, fine, I'll take it. But I think I'm sort of in a situation where I'm looking at the team and the players we have, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, we got a really good team. This team can actually go and compete. And Europa League last season, I thought we actually played very well, and unfortunately we got knocked out, which I thought was a bit disappointed by. But I think if West Ham get a much better manager, look, there's so many managers out there which are better than Moyes. I keep saying that, and you look at Brendan Rodgers, you look at we have been linked with the Lille manager Paulo Fonseca. I think we were linked with him. I think a few years ago. Very good manager.
Why do you want all the Spurs managers Why do you want all the managers that Spurs are linked to?
To be honest, I wouldn't mind any of those type of managers as long as they play exciting football. I always look at managers who play exciting football. I don't want a manager like Moyes anymore. I'm really tired of it, because the way I don't know whether you guys see the way we play. It's like, especially the start of the season, I get fed up. I get bored. There's no point watching it. It's no excitement. And when you have players like Skamaka, who we bought for 50 million, Paqueta 50 million, and these players are good. It's not like they are bad. It's not like they are they're international players. You can't expect West Ham to just suddenly drop like that. Maybe it's because of the morale. Maybe it's because of the manager, the tactics, the training, how everything's going. But like I said, it's yeah, I think a breath of fresh air is what I want, and yeah, we will see. But like I said, I'm very happy with the 3 points. So sorry to Bournemouth, but yeah, I think this win will get us closer to safety. And to be honest, we're facing Liverpool next, which is not going to be easy. But to be honest, I got a bit of belief actually that we can go and get something, because last time we won that 3-2, and yeah, we sort of played well actually that game. And
Is it
like I said,
is it at Anfield or the Olympic Stadium?
I'll see him at home. We're playing at
1-0
home.
West Ham. Clip this.
All right.
Well,
And
like I said, it's not
since-
easy.
yeah, so now at least we know that Keshav is happy for the points, right? Whenever you get the points, because you're happy, right? And especially 3 points. And I'll get to Craig. Craig, Bournemouth, yeah, you beat us, right? 3-2
Yes.
away, and then you go back to your own home ground and get hammered by the Hammers.
To be honest, I think West Ham are in a little bit of a false position in the league. I think that they looked very, very good yesterday, although we didn't help ourselves defensively. And one thing that we have done, and earlier on in the season, we were struggling from set pieces. So balls were coming into the box and we couldn't handle them. Chris Metham and Marcos Senesi weren't particularly very good at doing that. However, what we did yesterday was Jack Stevens was at the back. He's made it more of a rock, but he couldn't cope with Antonio. Completely lost his man, and it's been the worst performance that he's given to us. To be fair, he can't play against Southampton because, in fact, he is a Southampton player. He's on loan at the club, but incredibly poor at the back. There's a lot of fans in the Bournemouth ranks that are very critical of Gary O'Neill. Manny's probably seen this himself, and some nasty, nasty stuff. And to be honest, frankly, it's embarrassing because where we've come from, where this football club has come from, all those years ago, I think people, like I say, have got short memories of that. I think where we're at the moment, 15th. In the Premier League. Hey, I'll tell you what, Yushin, if you offered me that at the start of the season, I would have bitten your hand off for it because I think, I expected to be in this battle. I expected it was going to be really tough. As it still stands, if we can get a couple more wins, we could easily eclipse the first season that we were in the Premier League last time around. And that is no mean feat. I think Gary O'Neill has done an excellent job. He's not going to get it right all the time. It is a baptism of fire where he's gone into the first job in the Premier League is never going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. You get given that first job in the Premier League after a team has been thrashed 9-0 even, it was always going to be tough. But he's managed it. He's managed it well. He's learned from his mistakes. There was mistakes in that Spurs game at Dean Court and also the Leeds game that followed it as well, where we were 2-0 up. Eugene, you probably remember that. 3-2 up. We got beat 3-2. Leeds, we were 3-1 up, got beat 4-3. That was probably the worst of the two. To be fair, it was the Leeds game. But he's learned from that. He's learned from that, and I think he's progressed into a manager, that has done well. No team, some Bournemouth fans have said, no team have been pegged back from 2-0 up to get beat on 3 separate occasions in the Premier League. Well, one of those was against Arsenal. And, Arsenal, when they clicked, when they got a goal back, really put us under pressure. It was always going to be difficult. Going back to yesterday, I just think we weren't at the races. We were poor. We were very, very poor. It wasn't the Bournemouth that we expect. But then again, we're not going to get that every week. Phil Billing didn't play particularly well. Jack Stevens didn't play particularly well. Neto was not at fault for any of the goals, really. Going forward, Marcus Tavernier struggled a little bit yesterday. I think a lot of players were leggy. I wouldn't say that we're Are we still in the relegation battle? I think we need a couple more wins. I spoke to Tony Cottee on Talk TV yesterday night as well, and he thinks Bournemouth will be absolutely fine. And to be honest, most pundits do. And most pundits are full of praise for Gary O'Neill. That video hasn't gone up. If anybody does want to watch that, it will be on the channel probably tomorrow at some point.
Mhm.
But when I speak to Tony Cottee, but um, yeah, just not at the races yesterday. We go again on Thursday night, a massive game against Southampton, our local rivals. I just hope we don't put in a similar performance to that, because it'd be really disappointing if we go there and just don't turn up. But I think we will do. I think, in fact, you've got to give credit to West Ham. Mikel Antonio was excellent. Jared Bowen was excellent. Declan Rice was causing problems in the midfield. That might be why Phil Billing wasn't playing, struggled yesterday. At the back, Cresswell was excellent, moving the ball forwards. I really, really do rate him. Very, very good player. Maxwell Cornet as well, when he come on, very, very good player, very good attacking player. West Ham are full of quality. They shouldn't be where they are. They're in the semi-final of the Europa League for a reason. I think they probably will win that competition. And the one thing I don't understand, though, with West Ham is, like Bournemouth, why they are Moyes out. Because Moyes, and you might disagree with me on this, Keshav, but I think he's done a decent job. And you look at his time when he was at Everton. He managed to get them into the Champions League spots. Yes, I know there was that Villarreal game. To be honest, ever since that, Villarreal have been, a bit of a force. But, he did an excellent job there. It fell back a little bit, then it went again, and then it went in waves with David Moyes. I think he's building something at West Ham. Hopefully Declan Rice will stay, because if he stays, I think that's what makes West Ham tick. If not, got to find something else that replaces that. But I think David Moyes is a decent manager. I think he probably deserved a bit more time at Man United when he was in charge of them. And let's be fair, with Alex Ferguson, he could have been sacked very, very early into his reign at Man United. So I think West Ham should give David Moyes time, because I think he will come good, and I think he will successfully take the team forwards.
Yeah, to tell the truth, right? Actually, it's a good time for West Ham now, because they're coming to form, right? And if they can pick up the form now where they are now, they are already in the semi-finals of the cup, right?
Yes.
And they're more or less securing their position in the Premier League. I guess maybe you should give Moyes a chance. But before we continue, just to let you guys know, Julian had to jump off because he's got some things to attend to, just to let you guys know. And I will say a big shout out to the guys in the chat, John Fitzpatrick, right, from Australia. And we got Statman Stubbs, big up Statman, right? Daniel Sandoval, big up Daniel Sandoval. And of course, Statman Stubbs saying Nippon, not at the Tottenham Stadium today. And big up to Manny too, right? That's Statman saying, right? But I'll come to Manny, right? What are your thoughts on Bournemouth and of course West Ham at the moment, right? Are you playing them anywhere along the line?
I think if we take a look at the well, obviously we played West Ham fairly recently, and that was the game where we were leading 2-0, but then ended up drawing 2-2 thanks to a needless penalty and another pretty poor piece of defending and goalkeeping, which pegged us back to 2-2. And if it hadn't been for a Kieran Tierney last-ditch tackle, we could have lost that game 3-2. Say whatever you want about Tierney's inability to play the inverted role. As a traditional left back who overlaps beautifully, defends well, adds to the attack, but also is a solid defender, he is quality. And I do not ever want to see Zinchenko playing in that position again, but knowing Arteta, that's exactly what he'll do. And of course, we played Bournemouth early in the season. I believe that was our third game, if I'm not wrong, because we started with Crystal Palace, and then we went to
We beat Leicester at home, and then we went to Dean Court and won 3-0. And that 3-2 win at the Emirates really was another game which was what people would call fool's gold, because now, of course, we've been found out against Southampton. And obviously, ever since working closely with Craig and his channel, I've grown to really, really enjoy seeing Bournemouth play whenever I possibly can, and I have a really soft corner for them. And I am hopeful that they will stay up. I believe they will stay up. And I definitely believe that Bournemouth have done the right thing by not falling victim to this relegation panic, as it were, and being in a hurry to sack their manager. Because, again, you've got to take a look at the extenuating circumstances. As Craig has perfectly said, he's spot on. You can't just have a manager come in and take charge of a team when it's at its lowest ebb, having been spanked 9-0 by Statman Stubbs' team over at Anfield, and expect it to be a smooth ride. We all knew that he was going to take the job on an interim basis, and it remained to be seen how well he'd do. And, of course, he had an excellent run, which prompted the board to offer him a full-time job. And then, of course, it was a draw to Southampton, which preceded a pretty poor run, where I think the problem with Bournemouth, if I may see this, and I will probably discuss this with you on Wednesday before the game, Craig, is, whenever you get a bad result like this, and sometimes when things don't quite go your way, you seem to develop a bit of a crisis of confidence at times. And I think certainly after the Arsenal game, that was probably what happened a little bit. But well done with the win over Liverpool at Dean Court. That was probably an exception for the rule. It is a question of confidence, and when you are not in the position where you'd like to be, or maybe you are, but you still know that there are teams snapping at your heels, sometimes you feel that pressure, and maybe the lack of confidence could be what could be hurting you at times. It's certainly what hurt a few players, the likes of Solanke earlier on in the season, although he might be coming back at the right time, as shown with that goal against Spurs at White Hart Lane. I just think that now, with the two games that Bournemouth have coming up, Southampton and Leeds, these are teams also which are completely, devoid of any kind of confidence right now. And this is actually a good time to be playing Southampton, because after all the hard work, they couldn't beat us because we finally decided to show up. But I will. Once you take a look at the scouting report, you will have to take a look at the players you'll have to watch out for. Obviously, Walcott has seen better days, but he did look good last night. I think. He did make his share of poor touches, but it's sort of what to expect when he's gone into his 30s. I thought Lavia was running the midfield quite beautifully, and Alcaraz was also, taking charge of everything. Bednarek also will have a bit of a role to play, but if you can neutralize those players, you should be okay. So I'm not too worried about Bournemouth. I think they've got a really good run in. I think keeping the manager has really done wonders for, making sure that there is that unity within the team, and unity is strength. And obviously securing Neto to that long-term contract has helped improve performances a great deal. I think Bournemouth are going to be fine. I'm really not too worried. Yesterday was a dreadful day at the office. Craig has said so. And you are going to have more of these days as you go along. It's not going to be smooth sailing, as people will say. And all of these people on Twitter, or, another abusive name for them, I mean, I think we should just call them twits, whatever, because that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
I could think of even worse things to call them.
I've got to be honest. I've been slammed, haven't I, Manny, for my backing of Gary O'Neill, and I think it's just.
Mate, no. I agree, and you know that you got me fighting your corner. I don't mean to, say that publicly, but some of these people on Twitter just don't have an idea. I think once this season ends, Bournemouth will be in the Premiership, because some of the teams below them are absolutely dire. No mention of Eric Dyer, of course, Eugene, and Bournemouth will be fine. As for West Ham, the reason why Keshav feels this way is because West Ham over the years have always had a tradition of wanting to play some really exciting, attractive football, which would, excite the fans. And it's probably of no coincidence that back in the days when, of course, going back way back when, you had the World Cup trio of Hurst, Peters, and I forget who else, but that was the time when, I believe, a few years before the World Cup win, they also won the European Cup Winners' Cup by beating, I believe it was 1860 Munich, a really top team in the Bundesliga at the time, who had a lot of really good players. They really turned on the style that day, and I think that was also an example of, how the tradition was born. I would take the point, of course, that with West Ham having suffered a few relegations from the First Division and the Premier League, sometimes when times change, you have to change with the times. And if you get managers who can, secure Premier League status, then that could be pretty good. But I do understand as well that when you get if you take a look at Newcastle, for instance, who have the ex-Bournemouth manager Eddie Howe, and they're playing some really good football right now. I think many other teams will look at Newcastle and say, you know what, I want that. And West Ham are no different, because West Ham always believe in playing really attacking football. But I completely understand as well, because Moyes also, he reminds me of the girl who has a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. When his style is good, it looks really, really good. But when his style looks bad, it looks absolutely horrid. And, I'm sure Kesha will have grown tired of seeing the type of football that Moyes would put out, where sometimes you won't see players play to their potential. It's as if every match, if rice doesn't get cooking, the meal becomes tasteless, pun intended. So, I completely understand where Keshev is coming from. And let's not assume that West Ham will win the Conference League anyway, because there are still going to be some teams who have worked really hard to get to that stage. And even Jose Mourinho didn't find it easy the first time around winning that Conference League. So we're going to have to see what happens. I think if West Ham can get a decent manager and maybe build on staying in the Premiership by trying to get some players in, what they could do is, if they decide to sell Declan Rice for about an insane sum of money, almost equal to that for which Aston Villa sold Grealish, then that money can be reinvested in some newer players, and a new team can be built. And take a look at what happened to Aston Villa after selling Grealish. Yes, they flopped under Gerrard, but under Unai Emery, they're flying, and they're having a good evening, all in contention for a European place. So maybe I see that taking place with West Ham, and if that happens, then all the better for them. I think both teams are going to be fine. Both teams will stay in the Premiership. And with that, gentlemen, I will have to leave because I've got some things to do. But I want to thank you, Jin, for bringing me on as always, and I hope to come on again very soon. Big up to everyone on the panel. Craig, wonderful to see you here, mate. Kesha.
And you as well, mate.
Cheers.
But, Manny, before you go, Manny, are you taking over Steven's channel? Is it confirmed yet?
Yeah, listen. I will speak to you about that in private, and I'm trying to make some things happen. It's not very easy. Keshav, good to see you. Jordan, good to see you. And of course, Mr. Sharma, Zarur baad mein milenge. Khuda Hafiz. And of course,
Khudafiz.
And of course, you can find me on social media at Manny Thangadurai 1981 on Instagram and Thangadurai 1981 on Twitter. Several other channels on YouTube. I don't have the time to say them all, but I always now say this. If we can't disagree without being disagreeable, there's no point in having a discussion. Let's be good to one another. Yeah. Take care of yourselves. Have a good evening, good afternoon, good rest of your day. Don't do anything the six of us wouldn't do. Big up to everyone in the chat. And now, I take leave.
All right. Take care, Manny.
See you later, Manny.
Big up.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Big up. And let me get to Jordan. Jordan, any thoughts on the West Ham Bournemouth game?
I don't really have much knowledge for both these teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the way Bournemouth plays sometimes. They do have a lot of potential, good players. I like Marcus Tavernier a lot. He's direct, he's quick, technically quite good. Even if I'm not mistaken, the lowest paid player in the Premier League was this guy called Jordan Zamora for some time. I'm not sure.
Yep, that is spot on. Yeah, he is. We have offered him a new contract, but he has decided he's going to go to Udinese. A very, very sore subject, that actually. I did a video on it on my channel, and what he did was he announced, he put out a really positive post initially saying about how the boys need to get together and make sure that we can get across the line. And then a minute later put out a post about going to Udinese.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to find out more about that, do head over to the channel. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up at Watford.
Oh,
All right.
Udinese, of course, owned by the same people
Oh
that
yeah,
own
yeah,
Watford.
owned by the
Yes,
same-
yeah.
yeah.
Being him being the lowest paid player in the Premier League, for that he is quite good.
Mhm.
He's like, for that standard, for if I'm not mistaken, a few £100 a week, was it?
Yeah, he's
300
been.
pounds?
Well, the rumor is 350, but the thing is it has been. He has had contract offers. I think there's been about 16 contract offers, from what I understand.
Wow.
And each of those 16 contract offers have been turned down by Jordan Zamora and his agent. Again, that is hearsay. Don't know how true that is, but that's what I've been told.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
he has been offered money to take that stigma away, but because he keeps rejecting them, that's why he's ended up in the Premier League on such little money, which,
Yep.
so he has got. Well, see, this
Mind-boggling.
is the thing. The question is, and I don't understand how this Udinese situation has come about, because we did offer it, and it's believed to be around 36,000 a week. So
Wow.
All right.
a magnificent increase.
10,
But
10 what? That's 1,000% increase.
yeah, exactly.
1,000 times increase. Right.
But the problem is that Udinese have offered, and in fact, if it's to be believed, he's gone to Udinese for 14,000 a week. But the big thing is, as he's out of contract, they can offer bigger signing on fee. That bigger signing on fee, part of that will go to the agent, and that
You
is
will
why
filter
we're
back
in the
down.
situation we are.
Yeah, filter back down to the signing mandate. Yeah, that's true. And for Nippon, any thoughts on the West Ham game, Bournemouth? Since Keshav all of a sudden is left, I guess he's got something to do.
Well, like everyone's been saying about West Ham being in a false position in the relegation zone, I honestly do think they are too good to go down. I mean, there are so many worse. Same with Bournemouth. There are so many teams worse than them too in the Premier League that it just wouldn't make sense if either of them did.
All right, fair. Okay. Since
I also have a question, and I don't think Craig saw it. Doesn't Jack Stevens play for Southampton?
He does, yes. Jack Stevens is actually on loan at the club from Southampton. He won't be able to play on Thursday night, but he's been a real rock. I'm hoping we can sign him permanently in the next transfer window. Once we stay up and Southampton go down, I think
That would be
that.
hilarious.
Yeah, I think
being
that's
a
gonna
South
happen.
Coast rival and all.
But I think personally, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. I think he'll be a backup player. I think Bill Foley will be looking at who else he can bring in. But yeah, I think, personally, he's been a rock. He's been a rock, and he's really helped this football club.
Who are Bournemouth's biggest enemy number one for Arsenal? And sorry, for Tottenham and Chelsea, it's Arsenal.
Enemy number one. Well,
for Jordan's team, it's Sunderland.
Yes,
Yes.
of course. So, of course, Southampton aren't really bothered by us. They're not really bothered by us. Portsmouth, just they're too
Irrelevant.
far away. Brighton, too far away. Bristol City, there's a little bit of banter with them. Watford, it's quite hard
That's
with.
far, over 100 miles.
Yeah, it's only because of the rivalry and throughout the years. So there's that. The other team is Reading.
Oh, Reading.
Yeah, the other team is
Those
Reading.
are odd. That's odd, given the fact that they're so far.
Reading's fairly close. It's about an hour and a half away, but
that's still far. It's not like Arsenal and Tottenham, which is a 10-minute bus journey.
But the thing is,
or Chelsea and Arsenal, which is a which is a train journey across town.
But the thing is, Nippon, we're miles away from everybody. Southampton's 40 miles away, but they haven't played in the same league as us for years and years and years and years and years. That's why it's quite a friendly rivalry. And in fact, have a watch of some of the videos on the channel because it goes into some detail about Southampton, how their fans actually helped our club when we were in dire needs. So even though there's a bit of a rivalry, it's a friendly rivalry because they did help us out when the club was on its backside. So we're thankful to them for that.
So nothing. So nothing as intense as Chelsea, Arsenal, or the North London derby. No.
No, we're just too far away from everybody else. We're too far away from everybody else, and that's why
It-
Bristol City, Reading, and Watford have decided that they want to
Laugh
dislike
at
us.
us.
Yeah, although saying
And
that,
even then, it's a one-way thing.
well, it doesn't seem to be that big a rivalry. I would say if you
That's what
ask
I meant.
the
That's why it's always a one-way thing. That you don't tend to hate them, but they hate you.
if you
Hey,
ask Bournemouth fans, who they dislike the most, the team would be Reading.
Okay. And Jordan, you want to say
Okay.
something?
Yeah, interestingly, when I was in my uni days at Newcastle, I've been to every single home game. There were two teams that every time when they came over to St. James, it
Let
was
me
very
guess.
hostile. It was Fulham, the first Fulham and Bournemouth. For some reason,
Fulham and Bournemouth. Okay.
at
Wow.
one point,
We're
yes,
loud though. That's the thing. We're very, very loud.
yeah, at one point it was because Newcastle weren't that playing that well. They weren't that well off like now, and these two teams were Newcastle's boogie teams. Every single time when they play against Newcastle, they would beat them or they do well against them. So it was kind of intense every time I went to watch these two games.
Okay.
Yeah, so
It was during
especially Fulham was the worst. I would say Fulham was the worst.
Fulham was the worst. But I got a question for Craig. Craig,
Yeah.
Tavernier, the name seems very familiar. Was he part of the youth setup at Spurs?
Marcus Tavernier, I think. No, I don't think he was.
Okay.
I think you might be
James.
thinking of James Tavernier, who is at
Yeah.
Rangers. Marcus Tavernier was signed from Middlesbrough. I wasn't really blown away by his signing when he first joined us, but his youth career was at Newcastle.
Newcastle here. I'm looking at it
Yeah.
now.
Tavernier, Newcastle. All right.
See, I
Okay.
wasn't really blown away when he signed for us, but to be honest, he's been outstanding. He's been very, very good, and a player that I really do rate.
Fair. All right. Now this is the big question for the Chelsea guy. Yeah. I know the chat room, right? I haven't done a show with you in such a long time, right? Ever since, you've been working and all that, right? And ever since,
it's really
Roman's
it's
gone.
really demanding in the hospitality industry.
Yeah, I understand the same for me too. So since Roman's gone, you sacked Tuchel, you brought in Potter, the drama goes on. Now you got Frank Lampard there, and now you're linked to Poch, right? So how do you actually feel about it? Spending £600 million in 2 transfer windows, right? And you're lying where?
11th. Look, you just have to laugh. If you don't laugh, you will tear your hair out.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I'm
But
losing already.
Before we continue, right? Craig, you gonna make a move soon?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a move very, very shortly. But yeah, Eugene, thank you so much for having me on, mate. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Not a
Thanks for
problem.
coming on.
Anytime.
Guys, in the chats later, if you're watching the show, don't forget to subscribe to Craig's channel, right? What was UT?
UTCIAD. So up the cherries in all departments.
Yeah, up the cherries in all departments. Take care. Right.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for being on.
Speak
Thanks for being on. All right. Thanks for being on.
No problem at all. My pleasure. See you soon.
We'll
Bye
catch
bye.
up, we'll catch up again, right? I'll let you know when it's my next show. Maybe we'll have some fun then again.
Definitely, most definitely. All the best. Take care, guys. Bye
All
bye.
right, take care. Bye-bye. All right. And
Bye-bye.
and okay. And then of course, Jordan, you're gonna make a move too?
Maybe in a minute. Yeah, in a
All right.
minute.
Okay, let we get back to the question. Okay, Posh to Chelsea. How do you feel about it?
I'm in two minds about it. Like, will he bring this loser mentality with him, or will he somehow need a motivation?
Mm-hmm. All right. And
and I think you guys. Well, no, I won't say Tottenham. I'll say Daniel Levy did him dirty by not backing him. I honestly feel if Daniel Levy had fully backed him, as in like fully, like gave him money to spend, I think you would have won the league in the season. You know the season of. You remember the Battle of the Bridge?
Yeah, yeah.
I think you would have won the league in that season if he had backed.
That's the season when Leicester won the league, right? So
no, I'm not trolling. I honestly think you would have won the league if Pochettino had been backed fully.
Properly
you would have won
backed.
the league at least once with him.
Yeah, but the thing is that we didn't even sign any players for three transfer windows. That was the worst part of it. Right?
That's Daniel Levy. That's all on Daniel Levy. I even put a tweet out earlier today. I don't know if you saw it, but I said Tottenham fans shouldn't be mad at Pochettino for coming to Chelsea. They should be mad at Daniel Levy for letting him go to Chelsea.
Yeah,
if I was Tottenham's chairman and I saw that link, I'm saying no, sign him up straight away.
No, but the problem is that, right? I think before Poch left, right, there was some bad blood, with the board. So the board is the problem now, not wanting Poch back. So, but the thing is, if Poch goes to Chelsea, right, my biggest fear, Kane will follow suit, because to tell the truth, you guys actually need a striker. You really need a striker.
Kane will. If there's one thing Daniel Levy doesn't do, it's business with Chelsea.
No, but
we've witnessed that when we tried getting Luka Modric off you.
Nippon, but if you put 125 million pounds in front of him, right, he'll be gone. It's all about the money.
We offered 50 million for Luka Modric. That's the similar amount of money.
But that time,
back
Luka
then,
Modric,
which is now.
No, but how much? What I call? What at what standard was Luka Modric? Was it end of his contract that time? Did he had a long time in the contract? So for what I see now at the moment now, right? If Poch goes there, there is a high possibility, right? You never say no, because number one, whatever happens, right? Daniel Levy sees the money. Whoever gives him the highest price now for Kane, that's where he's going. That's how I see it, because he's got only 1 year left in his contract, right? If he runs out his contract by end of this year, end of the next season, right? He goes for free. You get what I'm saying? That is the sad part about it. Yeah. And the thing is
would you say if Harry Kane, would you say this would be worse than Sol Campbell if Harry Kane left for Chelsea?
To tell the truth,
or
as for Chelsea, right, it's very simple. If Harry Kane came out and told the truth and said whatever happened, right, he's going there, right? So yeah, it might happen, right? But what Elias saying is that Roman, who wouldn't, Todd Bowley might be okay, right? And Todd Bowley might go crazy in spending the money, because he's already showed that he can spend crazy money. He's willing to put out the crazy money, right? And if Poch does come in, maybe that's what you guys need. That's your last piece of the puzzle, right? And maybe Poch will have 1 season out of Europe, right, to actually build a proper team that he needs without the pressure of playing so many games in a week. Yeah. And you
a
guys
lot of Tottenham fans will laugh at me for that tweet I put out. Do you know that tweet, right?
Yeah, I saw the tweet. Yeah, right. I understand.
Yeah.
I saw the tweet. Yeah, but the thing is that we all know what we all know as Spurs fans, right? Where our problems are, right? It's the only thing is that, guys, Thursday, all right, 5:30 p.m. in front of the club shop. All of you who are in the United Kingdom or you in the London vicinity who are Spurs fans, please go and protest. That is the most important thing now, is to protest. to go out in the numbers to show the dissatisfaction, right, of our owners, right, guys. But before I have to end the show soon because we've been going on for more than one and a half hours. I have
I
to
need
say
to
thank
speak to you after you end the show, by the way.
Yeah, I'll talk to you in the back room for a while, right? I have to thank all the panelists that came on, right? Craig, Julian, Jordan, right? Of course, Nippon, right? And of course, Mani. Who else did I miss out? Did I miss out anyone? Did I miss out anyone in the panel?
Jordan,
Jordan,
Keshav,
Julian,
Keshav.
and Keshav. Yeah, and Keshav, right? And of course, big up to all you guys in the chat. State, you came in late. The show is ending. Right now, I'll give you some time to come on. Right. Big up to Guguma. Big up Guguma. Right. Soft Rock BG. Big up. Big up. Levy out. Levy out. Leanick out by Alex. Right. Of course, Elias. Elias is in the chat. It's Jason Bell. Big up to Jason Bell. Right. Big up to Bobby K. Derek Hutchinson. Ian Meth. Statman Stubbs. Big up to all you guys. Daniel Sandoval. Mr. K. Big up to Mr. K. We did the Talk to K last week. Right. John Fitzpatrick. Right. Who else do we have in the chats? Who else do we have in the chats? Nick Collison, right? Of course, Will from Tottenham Away, right? And Mark Cousins. Okay, big up to Mark Cousins, right? Who else? Oh, did I miss out anyone? Have I missed out anyone? Bro. Tony Rodriguez, big up Tony. Big up Tony Rodriguez, right? Who else? If I miss anyone else, Guguma. Jacob from Tottenham, from United Spurs of America. Jacob. Of course, big up to Jacob too. Hutchinson, Chris Agamba, number one Agamba, big up to Chris Agamba. Hoover, my main man, Hoover. Big up Ben Kaufman, big up Benny Boy. Right. Who else do I have? Right. Anybody else? Did I miss anyone else? No. More or less it's the same. More or less. Scott M. Yeah, big up to Scott M too. Scott M, my brother from Canada. Right. The most positive guy in the Spurs community. And Luca, big up to Luca. Hope you're doing well, Luca. Hope you're doing well. Right. We have to do a show together soon, Luca. Right. I guess I've gone through the chat, said thanks to all the guys in the chats, and let's see what's in the new comments. Anybody else? If I missed out. Yep, Carl Simpson, big up Five Guys, right? At the moment, thanks for being on. And as always, put down the volume of the earphones, right? This is gonna hurt. And guys, and as always, leave you out. Don't forget the protest, guys. The protest. Be there. 5:30 p.m. in front of Club Shop at the Tottenham Stadium Thursday before the Manchester United game. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.